So we now have the prices leaked for Games Workshop's Christmas Battle Forces. If you're looking to pick them up, they're going to be around £130, $210 or €160. Hello and welcome back to Warspecs Tactics, where today we're just taking another quick look at the Christmas Battle Force boxes. Now we know the prices, and now we can gauge them against the kits that Games Workshop already sells. The pricing isn't really too far from what I was imagining. These seem to be fairly standard issue, and fit in with Games Workshop's typical discount prices, usually giving around 30 to 40% off the combined value of the kits bought separately. Some of them do appear to be a bit better than others, and also of course it depends exactly which miniatures you're looking to pick up. Even the ones that have slightly less discount might actually be more useful if they were miniatures that you were thinking about buying anyway. Unfortunately, it does appear that Games Workshop isn't doing a made-to-order of these like they do with several of their other big boxes. For example, with things like the Orks or the Black Templar starter sets, they said that if you ordered them they would guarantee you a copy. At least so far we don't have any news that that's going to be happening with these Christmas Battle Forces, which to me implies that they're just doing a single print run of them, and then once they're gone, they're gone. Unfortunately, it does mean that if you want to pick these up, you might well have to be quite quick. Unless they are doing some sort of print run, I strongly suspect we might be back to the good old days of these selling out in seconds. Usually they go up for pre-order on Saturday morning, so if you're absolutely desperate to get your hands on one of these, then it might well be worth checking there early. In any case, I thought we'd do a quick review of each box now we actually know the confirmed prices, and just talking a bit about how much value I think that each one has. First up we have the Space Marines Shieldbreaker Strike Force. Price-wise, this one is £130, $210 or €160. There's something a little bit interesting going on with the prices. All of the prices for euros or dollars remain the exact same, but for pounds it's either £125 for some or $130 for others. The Space Marine Shieldbreaker one is one of the more expensive ones, and I was kind of expecting that given how many kits there are in here. In the box you get the standard issue Primaris Captain with the Power Sword, 10 Intercessors, 10 Assault Intercessors, 5 Heavy Intercessors, 3 Blade Guard Veterans, and one of those Storm Speeders that you can build as any variant. Price and discount wise, this does appear to be the best of them. It's £207 worth of miniatures, or $330 or €265, and that means that it has the best total discount, giving you around about 36% off compared with buying all of these kits separately from Games Workshop. Not too bad in my opinion, kind of in line with a lot of the Start Collecting boxes, but I would be aware that it's not significantly better than those. Points wise, again this is one of the stronger ones. You get 900 points worth of Space Marine goodness in here. All of them at least fairly recent sculpts, seeing as they are Primaris Marines. And in particular, the Bladed Guard Veteran multi-part kit, the Heavy Intercessors and the Storm Speeder, all of those are at least relatively recent ones for 9th edition. I'd say perhaps the Assault Intercessors are a little bit less good value compared with the rest. They're just really easy to get your hands on from starter sets or people reselling them from Indomitors. So while the multi-part kit is nice, it's maybe not quite as high value as some of the rest I think. I would be aware that it's a very troops heavy box as well. Maybe not so great if you've already filled out all your Space Marine troops choices, but perhaps a good one to jump into the faction if you want to. Next up for the Death Guard we have the Plague Festa Warband. That's £125, $210 or €160, so a little bit cheaper than some if you live in the UK. For that one you get a squad of Plague Marines, 3 Death Shroud Terminators, 3 Mephitic Blight Haulers, a Plague Burst Crawler, and 2 of the mini Plague Marine squad leader sculpts, the Champion and the Icon Bearer. For the price wise, these would be £185, $310 or €245, making the discount a little bit worse at 32%, but still quite decent. Points wise, this is the very best out of any of the box sets. It's around about 960 points, and you can easily push that to over 1,000 if you choose all the most expensive gear. For me, the pick of the box are the Plague Marines, the Plague Burst Crawler and the Death Shroud Terminators, all really solid units. I would say perhaps the Plague Marine characters are a little bit unfortunate as an include. I'd much rather just have a single HQ choice than those. They're quite nice models, but I'd much rather have a character myself. Finally, the obvious skew of the box set, and making up around about half the points, are those 3 Blight Haulers, and I think they're going to kind of decide whether or not the box set is good for you or not. If you already have plenty of those, or you don't really want any, then it's not going to be that great value. At the moment in game I'd argue they're not quite as strong as the Plague Burst Crawlers, though maybe aren't a million miles behind. I think it's kind of nice that this fits in quite well with the Death Guard starter set. You don't have any more Poxwalkers in here, so between that and the Combat Patrol you could get a fairly balanced force built up. Moving on, and we have the Adepta Sororitas Purgatus mission. This one's one of the more expensive ones in the UK, £130, $210 or €160, and for a Sisters Force it's quite a compact little set, a Dog Martyr, 10 Battle Sisters, 5 Sacrosants, and quite a lot of the box's value being tied up in 2 tanks, the Exorcist and the Immolator. This one's £185, $305 or €237 when bought separately. Again, a very comparable discount with the Death Guard, around about 31% off being bought separately. Sisters being pretty expensive, it only nets you around about 600 points in game, so maybe isn't quite a solid value on that front. Overall, I'd say that the infantry choices are pretty useful. Those Sacrosants are really good in game right now, as is the Dog Martyr. You might want a few Battle Sisters to fill out troop slots, and I think that the tanks are maybe a touch subpar, but they are really fun, flavourful miniatures. You can't get much more devout than a tank chugging around with a massive stained glass window on it. I perhaps would say just for the mix of units it's not my favourite one of the box sets, but again could make a nice accompaniment to the Sisters of Battle Combat Patrol set, which to be honest I think for newer players starting Sisters that might be the better pickup in my opinion. Moving on, and we come to the Admech, and here we have the Omniscience Talon, a cheaper one in the UK, £125, or the standard $210 or €160. Again, like the Sisters of Battle, you're not going to get too many points in here, seeing as Admech is just a really expensive faction to play in the first place. It's around about 520 points in the box, even with the new raised costs of the units from that nerf. In here you get a Tech Priest Manipulus, 10 Skitarii troops, 5 Taraxi, 5 of the Sicarian Infiltrators or Rust Stalkers, 3 Cerberus, and 1 Iron Strider or Dragoon. I must say I do quite like the mix of units here. A lot of the Admech fast attack is really quite interesting right now. Taraxi are certainly one of the stronger units in the Codex, and a lot of this just hasn't been discounted before, such as the Taraxi or the Cerberus. Discount wise it's basically the same as the Sisters, 31% off compared with buying all these separately. And in general, despite the fairly low points cost out of the box, I think that this one will be very popular indeed. Really quite a fun mix of threatening units, and if you wanted to, you could even pick up multiple of these, and it'd be perfectly possible to field in an Admech army. Moving on, we come to the Necrons, one of the slightly more expensive ones in the UK, £130, $210 or €160, for around about £190, $300 or €232 worth of miniature. That's around about a 30% discount compared with buying separately, and it nets you around about 740 points worth of Necrons in game. I must admit, the collection of miniatures in here I think is really quite a fun one. You get a Psychomancer, 10 Warriors and the Scarabs, a Locust Heavy Destroyer and 2 Doomstalkers, 5 Flayed Ones, and 3 Ophidian Destroyers and their Plasmacide. All of these came out in the new 9th edition Necron release, and the vast majority of them haven't appeared in any discount kit so far to date. I don't think I'm counting that Pariah Nexus one, as that wasn't exactly a very economical way to get hold of the miniatures. In any case though, there really are quite a lot of really nice sculpts here. Those Ophidian Destroyers and the Doomstalkers I think both look great, and the Psychomancer is another really interesting one with his CGI holographic skull. I would maybe say that quite a lot of these aren't exactly the most optimal Necron units in game. I'd argue perhaps the strongest ones are the Warriors, the Locust Destroyer and the Flayed Ones. Perhaps the few of the rest are very nice models, but maybe not exactly top tier right now. Still though, with a gorgeous collection of miniatures at a decent discount, I have a feeling that this one's going to be fairly popular. Finally we come to the Orks, and here we have the Kildaka Warband at £125, $210 or €160, and it does appear to be the worst out of the discounts just by a little bit, at only 27% off the kits bought separately. In the box you get a Deathkiller Wartrag, a Shock Attack Gun Mech, 20 Ork Boys, the new mainly monopose ones that come in the Battleforce, 10 Gretchen and a Runtherd, 5 Knobs, and a Dakka Jet that can build any other type of Ork plane. Combined they're £175, $286 or €225 if you happen to buy the kits separately. I would say this box set's a bit of a mixed bag. Things like the Deathkiller Wartrag and the plane I think are really quite high value. They're both really solid units in game right now. The rest maybe perhaps isn't the top tier things for Orks right now. Boys are alright but kind of overshadowed by some of the other things in the Codex, and the Knobs and Shock Attack Gun maybe just aren't the best value in game. There are some pretty cool models. Still though, it seems like a perfectly reasonable jumping off point to get towards an Ork army, though as always I will weigh that up against picking and choosing the kits that you like the most. So there we have a quick roundup of the boxes with the new prices. I'd say for the most part that they do seem to be fairly good deals. Quite a few of them do have some really good incentives to pick them up, The Space Marine one just seems fairly strong all round, if a little bit troop heavy, lots of value worth of miniatures and plenty of points on the table at a good discount. The Death Guard one gets you the most points in game if you're looking to flesh out an army, and I really like the unit mix in the Omnisized Talon, the Abmech one. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Are you looking to pick up any of these, or are you going to give them a miss for your faction? If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to Allspec Tactics, where I'll certainly keep the regular 40k content coming, with new videos out just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying the videos recently, I would just like to mention one way in which you can support the channel should you choose to, and that's my Element Games affiliate link down in the video description below. Element Games is a UK based discount retailer. They usually give 10 to 20% off Games Workshop's miniatures and box sets, and if you click on the link in the video description, anything that you order through them will give a small amount of the profits to help support Allspec Tactics without costing you any more whatsoever. Can just be one way to help support the channel on things that you were thinking about buying anyway, including these box sets, though I do suspect that they will be in limited quantity. For people over in the USA and Canada, I do also have an Amazon affiliate link down there as well. That works in much the same way. Click the link, buy whatever you were going to, and a small amount goes to help support the channel. A massive thank you to you guys who have been doing that, it really does help out. In any case, an absolutely enormous thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.